Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. The stage is set at Villa Park this afternoon as Aston Villa take on Spurs, where the race for that final top four position is seriously heating up. 5 points separate the two, with Villa on 55 points and Spurs on 50, but the away side do have a game in hand. For Aston Villa, they have started to rediscover their league form with 3 wins on the bounce, coming against Fulham, Forest and Luton. But this has followed a goalless draw in their Conference League first leg away at Ajax on Thursday night. For the majority of the season, Villa Park has been a fortress where they have won 10 of their 13 games here in the Premier League, but have only picked up 2 wins in their last 5 at Villa Park. For the opposition, Postecoglou's side are inconsistent at the moment in form, with 5 wins from their last 10 in all competitions, but did pick up a vital 3 points last week at home to Palace, where with 13 minutes to go, goals from Werner, Romero and Son completed a comeback as they were trailing 1-0 after an Eze free kick. This is the 174th meeting between the two and the 58th in the Premier League. In recent history, it's been a happy place for Spurs to travel to, with 8 wins in a row in all competitions at Villa Park, until last season where they fell to a 2-1 defeat back in mid-May. So for this huge day in the race for top 4 and Champions League football next season, will Aston Villa make the gap 8 points, or can Spurs close the gap down to 2 with a game in hand? It is a massive game in the top 4 race. Manchester United are just creeping behind. They're on 47 points at the moment, 3 behind Spurs and 8 behind Villa. It might be a little bit too much to ask for Manchester United to get into the top 4, but they are just silently following behind. But I think the real race for that 4th spot will be between Aston Villa and Spurs. Aston Villa have won the last 3 meetings against Spurs, and they've all come back in 2023. They couldn't quite. They did the league double over them last season. They won 2-0 away at Tottenham on New Year's Day in 2023. Goals from Buendia and Douglas Luiz. And then in the reverse fixture at Villa Park in mid-May, one of the last games of the season, Aston Villa won by 2-1. Jacob Ramsey, Douglas Luiz with the Aston Villa goals, with a Kane penalty in the 90th minute. And then this season they've already played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it was another 2-1 win for Aston Villa. That time Spurs took the lead through Lo Celso midway inside the first half. Then right at the end of stoppage time in the first half, Pau Torres scored to make it 1-1, and then Watkins made it 2 with half an hour left to play. But with around 10 games to go now in the Premier League season, if Aston Villa win and go 8 points clear of Spurs, you feel like it should be them who are the favourites to clinch that final space in the top 4 spots in the Premier League. Tottenham do have a game in hand though on Aston Villa, which I believe is Chelsea, because they were meant to play them when it was the League Cup final, so of course it had to be pushed back and postponed. So Spurs do have a game in hand, and that will come in handy, especially if they win today. They'd go 2 points behind Villa with a game in hand, which then would put them above them if they were to win that game in hand. So there's just so many different outcomes that can be resulted after any kind of result today. If it's a draw, a win for Villa, a win for Spurs, we've just so many outcomes that are possible here that I think it's almost just down to letting the teams play, battle it out, and just see where it leaves us at the end of 90 minutes. But I think it's definitely a record that Spurs will look at and want to change. The fact that they have lost their last 3 to Aston Villa, 2 of them being at home and then just the 1 away at Villa Park at the end of last season. But as I said, before that loss last season at Aston Villa, Tottenham had won the last 8 in a row in all competitions at Villa Park, so it's usually a stadium they come to and perform and pick up victories. But last season just wasn't like that for Tottenham. Obviously had a really poor end to last season, ended up finishing in 8th position, just a place and a point behind Aston Villa, who finished 7th. But at the end of the day, it's a brand new season, and both sides are looking at different aims and ambitions compared to last. Both of the teams today are looking for those Champions League spots, which would be historic for Aston Villa, never reaching the Champions League before. in their history. Spurs, very recently, as last season, they were in the Champions League, being knocked out to AC Milan in the last 16. But this season has been positive for both. They've had bumps along the way, but this could be a real decider in the league table at the end of the season. This is going to be a game that we'll look back on, and if a team does go on and win this today, and they go on and finish in the top four, they'll look back at this result as probably the main reason why they've reached that fourth spot. But there's 90 minutes plus to play here. It's going to be a cracking game. Two really strong sides. Tottenham are slightly a little bit inconsistent with their form at the moment, with 5 wins from their last 10. But they have won their last game against Crystal Palace. They also picked up a nice victory against Brighton, and the last 5 wins that they've picked up in the last 10 Spurs, they've all come at home. They have failed to win in their last 3 away games. 0 wins for them. So their away form hasn't been amazing in the last month or so for Tottenham. And Aston Villa's form at home has been very good for the majority, 10 wins from 13. Just the 2 defeats at home, and they've both come in the new year, to Newcastle, which was a 3-1 defeat, and Manchester United, which was a 2-1 defeat just about a month ago now. But we'll quickly go through both sides here. We'll start with the Aston Villa team as Emi Martinez is in goal, still searching for his 50th clean sheet in the Premier League. Back 4 of Ezri Konsa, Clement Longley, Pau Torres and Luca Digne. Midfield 4 of Matty Cash, John McGinn, Douglas Luiz and Leon Bailey. With just in behind the striker is going to be Youri Tielemans, making his 175th Premier League appearance, and up front leading the line is going to be Ollie Watkins, who's got 16 Premier League goals so far this season, 7 in his last 6. For Tottenham, it is going to be Vicario in goal, a back 4 of a returning Pedro Porro, who's missed the last 3 games out with injury. At left back are going to be Destiny Udogie, and the 2 centre halves of Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero. 2 holding midfielders of Yves Bissouma and Pape Sarr, who missed 4 games a month ago due to AFCON. And 3 behind the striker on the right is going to be Dejan Kulusevski. On the left is going to be Brennan Johnson. Down the middle and behind the striker is going to be James Maddison, who's making his 180th Premier League appearance. And up front leading the line is going to be Heung-min Son, who has got 6 goals in 8 previous appearances against Aston Villa. A hat-trick here in a 4-0 win back in the 21-22 season, but he has failed to score in his last 3 against Aston Villa. Will he change that today? They are the 2 teams for this really tasty fixture here at Villa Park, where it could seriously dictate who gets that final top 4 spot, because Manchester City, Liverpool and Arsenal are almost in the league at their own at the minute in the top 3. And then there's a battle for that 4th space, and then there's quite a few teams looking for those final European spots in 6th place, 7th as well. And it's a battle that neither of these teams want to get dragged into. They'd rather be up high, up towards top 4. They don't want to be getting close to the likes of Manchester United and West Ham and Wolves and Brighton, those teams who are just in and around the bottom half of the top half of the table. But it's going to be a difficult one for both sides. I think it'll be a difficult fixture for both, for sure. I don't think it'll be seen as easy from either team. But I think with the record that Aston Villa have got at home, they've got to be feeling rather confident. It must be said, they've got to be going into this one with as much confidence as possible. But for Tottenham, their away form is let them slip away from the title race. I think it was going to be an ambitious shout anyway for Tottenham to finish within the title contenders. I think for Postecoglou's first season, that was probably asking a little bit too much, but Tottenham have only won 5 games away from home this season, and their last came on the 15th of December to Nottingham Forest, so it has been some time since they've picked up 3 points on the road. But since that win against Nottingham Forest, they have only played 3 games away, and they've not won any of those 3, playing against Brighton, which they were defeated 4-2, Manchester United away 2-2 draw, and then another 2-2 draw to Everton. But we're going to get this first half underway here. With Tottenham kicking off, kicking right to left. Aston Villa left to right. High ball up from Maddison, headed down by Torres to Tielemans, and it's now with Douglas Luiz just on the edge of his 18-yard box, forced to his goalkeeper, Emi Martinez, who goes to the right-hand side here to Ezri Konsa, forward to Matty Cash, still in the defensive third for Villa, plays it forward for Leon Bailey, who has been tackled fairly there by Van de Ven, but he's pickpocketed by McGinn. Romero comes in to clear, deflects off the Scotsman, and out towards the Tottenham right, where it's collected by Kulusevski, but play's been paused, and play's been pulled back here, as there is an offside there for Aston Villa in the Tottenham half. So a lively start in the opening 40 seconds of this game. Just going to get the timer started. There we go. Do apologise as well. Callum Chambers is not on the bench for Aston Villa. I'm going to change that now. Do apologise. But it is Tottenham on the ball, on the halfway line here with Romero. Son collects it here and into his own half, dropping very deep for the ball there, Heung-min Son, very early on as well. It's on the near side here to Johnson, down the line for Udogie, asking too much of the Italian fullback. Out of play it goes in a right back position here for Aston Villa, and it'll be taken by Matty Cash. And it does look like it'll be an Ezri Konsa at right back and Cash into the right midfield position, as Cash took the throw in a bit too far forward for the referee's liking. So it has to be taken once again. As Aston Villa eventually take the throw up to the halfway line, it goes beyond Watkins, headed to the side of Van de Ven to Romero, who launches it in the air on the halfway line, headed forward by McGinn, drops here to Bailey, who can try and burst away from Basuma, and he's just run out of pitch there on the near side, thrown for Tottenham, midway inside their own half. Well won there by Yves Basuma, who was on the heels there of Leon Bailey. As on the far side, Porro dispossessed by Pau Torres, and the last touch comes off. Not quite sure who it's come off. They're not going to show me. It's an Aston Villa throw-in, last touch there, off Porro. Two Spanish internationals battling out there, Pau Torres and Pedro Porro, as it's midway inside the Aston Villa half here. Now on the edge of the box with Longley into Martinez, being closed down here by Son. It's to Konsa, who's tackled there by Brennan Johnson. His tackle is kicked out of play for a goal kick. Just needs to be careful there, Ezri Konsa, because we know how quick Brennan Johnson can be for Spurs. He doesn't allow you a lot of time on the ball, the Welsh international, Brennan Johnson, who has not scored in his 3 previous appearances against Aston Villa during his time at Nottingham Forest. As Villa play out from the back here with Ezri Konsa towards the corner flag here to Cash, bursting away from Brennan Johnson, but slide tackles in, but I think there's a pull on the shirt before he put that slide challenge in, so it'll be a free kick for Aston Villa in a right back position. We've not had any clear-cut chances at goal yet for either side. It's Martinez in his 6-yard box. Son closing down again. Shifts it to his right to Konsa, just outside the area. Looking for Cash. Tries to find him. He slips and the ball is kept in by Udogie in the final third here. Tottenham win it back in a dangerous area. It's now still with Udogie. And then back towards the halfway line here to Van de Ven. All Aston Villa players currently behind the ball here, as it's in the centre circle with Christian Romero. It's now back to this near side here to Maddison, who just peeled out to this left wing position here as he goes inside to Udogie, who can try and get beyond Konsa. Nothing given by the referee. Play continues as Son is dispossessed by Douglas Luiz, and he'll go back into his 18-yard box to find Clement Longley. And Aston Villa back in possession with Martinez forward to Luiz, and back to the right centre half here of Clement Longley, who clears with his weaker right foot up to the halfway line, looking in behind now for Watkins, who will beat Romero to it. Watkins with a touch into the area on the angle, and there's Van de Ven, who comes in and tackles strongly, and it's kept in there by Vicario. But Watkins is down here in pain. Play continues. Tottenham want to attack. Watkins has stayed down. It was a strong challenge there from Van de Ven, who we know how quick he is, and he recovered with some speed. As Romero into the Aston Villa half here with Son loses out to Tielemans, and Aston Villa will then kick the ball out of play as Watkins remains down here. It's not a sight that Villa fans want to see for their number 11, who's on 21 goals for the season in all competitions. He did start the game away at Ajax in the week on Thursday night, but it was just a hopeful ball looking up for Watkins, and he just beat Romero to it, and he was bearing down on goal. Van de Ven got back quickly, slid in, and I think just got the ball first, but it wasn't the cleanest of challenges he would have put in, Mickey Van de Ven. Sliding challenge, I think he just got the ball before slightly going through Watkins a little bit. The referee for today, Chris Kavanagh, had a brilliant view. He was right in front of it, and he's deemed it no foul. I don't think VAR are going to get involved. Well, they may have gone involved in another check, but they've not gone against the referee's decision. But thankfully for Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins is back to his feet. And we're back underway with Cash on the ball, slipping again, just about releasing it down the right-hand side here towards Leon Bailey, who's been flagged in an offside position. Free kick for Tottenham. We know how high their line can be. Tottenham Hotspur, when you've got a back four with such pace, with Porro, Romero, Van de Ven and Udogie, you can have that high line. And here is Maddison dropping very deep for the ball. Inside his own half here. Goes to his right, 5 yards to Yves Bissouma. It's now with Romero on the halfway line. Playing it to Sarr, who just about turns on Tielemans. It's a good turn in the end and plays it into Kulusevski, midway side the Aston Villa half. Goes to his left to Bissouma. He's going to switch it out to this near side to Udogie. Controls it in the final third of his chest. Maddison's overlapping. Udogie goes into the box to Son. Touches it back to Udogie. It's now with Sarr. Out to the right here to Porro. He's got Tielemans facing up with him. Goes out to the far side here to Kulusevski. Forward for Porro. Flag stays down for the moment. He turns and crosses, which deflects onto the roof of the net. And eventually, I think the flag goes up for offside. Porro's been providing the assists this season. He's got 7 in the Premier League this campaign. He's got the 1 goal, which came in the FA Cup at home to Burnley. But he returns from injury. Missed the last 3 injured, Pedro Porro. He was onside. Definitely onside. So did that cross take a deflection? I'm not too sure. Surely it did. I'm not sure what was given there. Presuming it may have just been a goal kick for the cross going straight over the bar. Zemi Martinez goes long, headed out wide by Van de Ven, out of play for a throw-in for Villa. Just inside their own half. On this near side, it'll be taken by Matty Cash, who's only started 1 of the last 3 against Spurs, but he's in from the start again today. Back-to-back starts. He was in from the beginning in the reverse fixture at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Watkins loses out there, but then tries to win it back, and it's fouled from Kulusevski, and Watkins is down again. Kulusevski this time just catching Ollie Watkins, who does have 3 goals for England in his 9 caps he's picked up for the 3 Lions. And of course he will be the one that is going to be on the plane as second choice behind Harry Kane, who scored a hat-trick again yesterday for Bayern Munich in the 8-1 win against Mainz. As Watkins is back up, hobbling slightly, but he should be okay. And it's ball back underway and back rolling with Longley on the edge of the box. Forward towards McGinn. That's a very risky pass, but McGinn can be fouled there by Bissouma. That's a big decision from Kavanagh, the referee, because Spurs were in. McGinn got it. I don't know. I think he's got the ball there. I think he's got it fairly. Aston Villa's gone over the top. No one's chasing it. Straight back through for Spurs, who can build from their own 18-yard box. I think that was a pretty lucky decision for Aston Villa. I thought Bissouma won the ball quite fairly there, as he plays it forward to Maddison, then back to Bissouma, midway side his own half. He goes across to the right here to Christian Romero, who's having the best goal-scoring season of his career. 4 goals in the Premier League. 2 at home and 2 away. His 2 away goals have come against teams starting with the letter B. Brentford and Burnley. Then his 2 at home have been to West Ham, and most recently in their last game to Crystal Palace. And here's Romero still on the ball, 10 yards away from the halfway line. Goes forward and out to the far side here to Pape Sarr. Back into Romero. Just under 10 minutes in. Still no huge opportunities, but it's definitely been Tottenham who have dominated the possession early on. It's Brennan Johnson down the line here for Udogie into the final third. Conte's chasing him. Udogie goes for an early crossing towards the far post. Towards Kulusevski. Just goes beyond the Swedish winger, who can get the ball back and recycles it towards Maddison. Header away by Cash. Drops to the edge of the box here to Sarr, who's facing away from goal. So goes back to Van de Ven. Then forward to the near side here to Johnson. Looking one-on-one here with McGinn. Takes on McGinn. Gets around him. Still with Johnson. Across the box to Sarr. 22 yards out. Tries to slip a ball through into the area. cut out there as he was looking for Porro. Tielemans clears up the field towards Watkins, loses out to Romero. Loose ball drops out here to Udogie, who's gone from left back to right back, and finds Kulusevski. And it's again Tottenham who can build up the attack. It was a very good ball into the box by Udogie first time. Just got away from Kulusevski at the far post. It's Maddison in a left wing position here. Goes back to the halfway line to Van de Ven. And as Aston Villa have won the last 3 in a row, they'd only won 3 of the last 24 against Tottenham before winning the last 3 in a row. And those 3 wins from 24 came from September 2008 to April 2022. So when a fixture used to be a dreaded one for Aston Villa, it's now become one they look forward to with winning the last 3 in a row. But the last time they beat Tottenham at home, Aston Villa, before the last game between these two last season, was back in September 2008. So, like I say, just a fixture they don't necessarily like. But that's changed under Unai Emery, who's got a decent record against Tottenham. 4 wins from 7, just the 1 defeat, which was in a League Cup quarter-final in December 2018. As Romero's gone down here, free kick for Tottenham, given away by Watkins, who's been in the wars himself. Romero just took a little bit of time to release it, but when he eventually did, he was taken out once the ball had gone by Watkins, who's looking for another goal against Spurs. Scored against them this season in the 2-1 win, and all 3 of his goals against Tottenham have come away from home, yet to score a home goal against today's opposition. There's Vicario bringing the ball forward, playing it to his left here to Van de Ven. He goes to the halfway line here to Son. Peels out to the left-hand side, lays it off to Brennan Johnson. Takes on McGinn once again. Runs being made in behind. Can Johnson find the right pass? Brings it across the pitch and goes out to the right-hand side here to Sarr. He's got Kulusevski out wide and Porro in front of him. He goes out to Kulusevski, then inside to Porro. Back to Kulusevski. Good pressing from Villa, forcing Spurs back to the halfway line here with Romero. Van de Ven in the centre circle. Coming out to the near side here to Udogie. Johnson on the inside, making Cash slip for a 3rd time, then a ball through, looking for the run of Sarr's over hit, and it goes through into the 18-yard box for Emi Martinez. He's got to be building some confidence, Brennan Johnson, on that left wing position. He's made multiple Aston Villa players slip, and he's took on a lot of them when running forward. As Martinez kicks this long, deep into the Tottenham half, into the space, it bounces through, Watkins will chase it, Porro gets there first, finds Vicario in the 6-yard box, who goes back out to Porro at right back, just avoiding the interception from Watkins, and then Porro switched it out to the left there, and it'll be kept in by Van de Ven, forward quickly to Udogie, still in the Tottenham half, finds Maddison, then into number 8, is Bissouma, still searching for his first Spurs goal, the former Brighton midfielder, who's making his 47th appearance for Spurs since joining last summer. It's been all Tottenham the first 13 minutes. Porro goes in behind for the run of Sarr, once again overhit down that Tottenham right hand side. It goes through for Martinez, but it's been all Tottenham, and it was all Tottenham in their reverse fixture at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They had 62% of the ball, having 18 shots compared to Villa's 15, and had a couple more on target as well than Aston Villa, but they're still yet to have a real chance and a real strike at Martinez's goal. As he goes to the edge of the box to Luiz, back into the 18-yard area to find Longley, who can keep it in. Spent last season on loan at Tottenham, Clement Longley. Now he's on loan at Aston Villa from Barcelona, as they work it down the left-hand side here to Tielemans. Back inside here to Pau Torres, who brings it forward, wants to release it. Tackle from behind by Kulusevski, but the pass still comes off with a deflection to Ezri Konsa. It's on the halfway line, near side. Cash around the corner, down the line here for Leon Bailey, who will be beaten to it by Van de Ven, and he gets around the Jamaican. Brilliant defending from Van de Ven. Not just using his pace, but his technical abilities. Bissouma gives it away on the edge of the box to Watkins. Through here for Tielemans on the left-hand side. Shoots with his left foot. Blocked by Porro, taken over by Watkins. Goes on the inside here to Luiz. Lifts it in behind, looking for the run of Cash. Just overhit and out for a goal kick, but it's the first major moment for Aston Villa. Just a lapse of concentration from Bissouma, and it's so unlike him. Just completely miscued the pass. If he'd played it straight, it would have reached Porro, but it's just angled it to the right-hand side, and that's straight into Watkins, who could take over, and thankfully for Tottenham, Villa couldn't capitalise, but it's a very characteristic mistake there from Basuma, giving the ball away like that in his own half, but he comes away from it unpunished, as it's Tottenham on the ball, halfway line here, just on the right channel with Romero, who can skip beyond Watkins, goes inside towards Porro, picked up by Douglas Luiz, forward here for Bailey, tackle from behind by Van de Ven, free kick given against him, and that'll be a free kick for Aston Villa, given by Chris Kavanagh, who was the referee for the recent League Cup final between Chelsea and Liverpool. But despite Aston Villa having to defend for a lot of the opening 15 minutes, it's almost something they were expecting. They've set up very deep and quite resolute at the moment. That's midway side their own half here with Longley. Goes to his right to Konsa. It's now Cash. He's turning back towards his own goal, finding Konsa as he was nearly pickpocketed there by Johnson. It's now Martinez in the 18-yard box. Plays out to the left here to Longley. It's now with left back. It's now with Pau Torres. Lifted ball forward, looking for Digne. Comes off the head of Porro. Collected by Sarr. Tackled by Digne. It's now Bailey in the centre circle. Out towards the far to this near side, but it's just gone behind Cash and out for a throw for Tottenham, just inside their own half. But despite Tottenham not winning very recently away from home, their last 3 games have been at home to Palace, Wolves and Brighton, where they have won 2 of those 3, picking up that defeat to Wolves. So they haven't been on their travels for a long time. Like I said, they were meant to play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge recently, but the League Cup final got that moved. As Brennan Johnson again takes on Cash very easily. And he has to turn back Johnson, play the ball, caught by Cash. Free kick for Tottenham on this near side, just towards the final third. He's had the beating of Cash early on, Brennan Johnson. He did so again. Not quite sure why he had to turn back the way he did, but he's won a free kick for his efforts anyway. And Tottenham will take that because they've got plenty of aerial threat in there, with Van de Ven being 6'4", Romero 6'1", Kulusevski and Son are also 6' plus. It'll be Porro to take. You may expect Maddison, but as we've just mentioned earlier on in the commentary, Porro has brought plenty of assists for Spurs this season, 7 altogether. He's got 10 in his Premier League career, his 10th coming away at Manchester United in their 2-2 draw in January of this year. So it will be the Spaniard to take it, Pedro Porro, who will cross it in with his right foot. It's an in-swinger. It's a good header from Longley. It's to the edge of the box to Sarr, who nods it out to the left-hand side for Tottenham, and it's dealt with by McGinn. And he plays out to the left here to Luiz. Counter-attacks on. Watkins needs to time the run. He's gone early. He'll go through on goal here, Watkins. He's one-on-one with Vicario. Tries to square it for some reason. And it's put behind there by Porro. But I'm sure that's going to be given as a free kick, as an offside. And it has been. I'm not sure who was in the wrong there. Was it a Watkins late run or a late Luiz pass? Let's have a look. Watkins was bearing down. He tried to halt the run. I think he just needed the pass a little bit sooner. But Watkins on goal, on his own. I don't know why he's not shot. I don't know why he squared it. That's really confusing. But it wouldn't have counted anyway. He was well offside, you could tell. As Aston Villa have a throw in, it goes towards Tielemans. Just tripped from behind there by Sarr. And that'll be the first booking of the game for Tottenham's number 29, who was injured for the reverse game. And he's back in today, Pape Sarr. And Digne took a quick throw in there for Aston Villa on the far side. And Tielemans just got in front of Sarr and then was tripped by the Senegalese midfielder. So it's an Aston Villa free kick this time round. We've just had a Tottenham one, which was dealt with by Longley for the home side. And now we've got the ball in. We've got the left foot of Digne and the left foot of McGinn, the captain, and the right foot of Tielemans. Tottenham's defensive line is along the 18-yard box, on the 18-yard line. And it looks like it is going to be McGinn. Tielemans walks away and Luiz comes across to be that right-footed option if needed. But it looks like it'll be an outswinger from McGinn. Luiz runs over it. McGinn puts it in. It's a dangerous ball. It's flapped up by Vicario, but it's away from danger. And it'll be picked up by Brennan Johnson, whose touch is heavy. And out for a throw, and it goes for Aston Villa as they can continue the pressure on this near side. Dangerous ball from McGinn, putting it into that corridor. But it was punched away in the end by Vicario, ahead of Ezri Konsa. It's going to be Cash to take this throw right in front of the away supporters who have made the 5-hour round trip to Villa Park. Looks like Cash is going to throw this one rather long into the 18-yard box here. Cash launches. In it goes. Headed on by Watkins. Back towards Louise. Out wide to the right now to Longley. It's now Cash once again in the final third. Tackled fairly by Brennan Johnson. And that's a throw-in again for Aston Villa. So we might get a rerun of the previous throw-in we've just had, where Cash put it in long. Cash throws it back to Longley. They restart this time. Goes to the halfway line here to Torres. Then back all the way to Martinez. You just see him as a huge waste. No idea why they've had to throw that one backwards. Martinez goes long, though, over the top, dealt with by Porro, who's filling it left back at the moment, but it can only go as far as McGinn, who quickly shifts it out to the right to Bailey. Cash wants to stay on side. Bailey keeps it simple to McGinn, then through to Cash, who I think stayed on side. In the area, ball goes across. Big interception there from Van der Ven. Ball rolls out. Aston Villa throwing again on in the final third, and hopefully they don't throw it all the way backwards again. I know it worked in the end, but I think it's just necessary to try and put Spurs under some pressure here, because they've been dominant in the opening 20 minutes, the away side, in terms of possession. Ezri Konsa standing on Vicario as the throw-in goes long in towards the 6-yard box, headed away by Basuma, collected by Leon Bailey, who strikes on the edge of the box. It's a timid shot, blocked anyway, goes out to the Villa left here to Digne. Back to Torres, who will put it back into the area to Cash, who's alone on the near side, brings it down, plays it out to the edge of the area to McGinn, onto his right foot, cross blocked off Brennan Johnson, and it rolls out for a corner. And finally, Aston Villa have turned up in this game in an offensive point of view. They've done very little going forward early on, but now they're starting to put their own stamp on this game. So it'll be Leon Bailey, left-footed, in-swinger here. As they surround the goalkeeper, ball goes in towards the keeper. That's a brilliant flick header by Van der Ven. And it's Adogi who kicks it off Tielemans, throwing in the right-back area for Tottenham. Wicked ball in from Bailey. And we've seen plenty of times this season how Vicario has been weak from corners. Everton and Manchester City have both profited from it. And Villa weren't too far away there. It was a fantastic defensive header from Van der Ven, as it came in with pace, and he headed it away from danger. As it's Porro with a throw in here for Tottenham. Into Sarr, who flicks on with his head. And it's dealt with by Torres, chested down by Louise. Finds Tielemans, back inside to Louise, who finds Bailey in a central area here. He's got Cash to the right-hand side. Looks for him, short ball, sliding from Adogi to kick the ball away. And it's back with Villa, with McGinn, who's in a deeper area. Dinks it out to the left-hand side. It's a beautiful ball. Final third, Digne touch. Cross goes in, and it's straight into the hands of Vicario in the 6-yard area, who in all yellow. The Italian goalkeeper wanted to try and set Tottenham away quickly, but couldn't quite do so. It's rolled out to Van der Ven. It's now on the edge of the 18-yard box here to Christian Romero. So just entering the 25th minute of this game, and we're still goalless at Villa Park, as we've only had one draw in the league at this stadium this season, when they drew 1-1 to Sheffield United near the end of December. As Adogi, brilliant 1-2 with Son, entering the Villa half. He now gets it to Johnson, who wants to go through to Adogi, kicked off the chest of Cash, throwing midway side the Villa half here on the near side for Tottenham. Adogi was on his bike there. Couldn't quite be found, though, by Johnson. As Adogi's got this throw-in. Looking for a bit of movement from his teammates. There's Maddison and Louise collide here. His tension is just starting to flare ever so slightly. I think there was a little bit of maybe pushing and shoving and the usual stuff that you get in football these days. So a little bit of a word there from the referee. That's the throw-in. It's picked up by Cash. It's a short ball, though, and Udogi's back onto it. Across it goes to Porro. Out to the right now to Kulusevski. One-on-one with Digne. Onto his left foot. Kulusevski delivers the ball in. Easy catch from Martinez. Unopposed. Quickly rolls out to Tielemans, who's been closed down by Kulusevski, who wins the ball unfairly. And that'll be a free kick for Aston Villa. Got away with that one slightly. Tielemans running into some sort of danger. But Kulusevski was a little bit too aggressive as Luiz wants to take another quick free kick like he did against Luton last week, and he finds Watkins again in behind, in the area. Touch gets away from him, and Porro can see behind for a goal kick. He's let himself down there, Watkins. Touch wasn't great, but that's how they scored one of their goals last week away at Luton. A quick free kick for Watkins, and he put it away with ease. As Vicario goes forward to Bazuma on the edge of the box. Forward again to Sarr. Keeps it away from Tielemans. It's now out to the far side to Porro. Back into a central area to Maddison. In behind now for Son. It's a beautiful ball. He'll get there at a long leg. Son on the ball. Trying to play it through for Kulusevski, who I think's offside. Play will carry on for now. Kulusevski is then eventually flagged for offside. As soon as Son received it, and he knew that Kulusevski was making the run, he wanted to find him as soon as possible, but even with the pace he was trying to do it at, it was still too late, and Kulusevski had strayed offside by quite some way. Villa clear it long here, straight through to Vicario. Seems a bit of a waste that down the Aston Villa right-hand side. I think that is something they need to work on a little bit, Aston Villa in this game. Too many of those balls in behind. They're just a little bit aimless at the moment. As when Tottenham have got the ball, Aston Villa do set up in a 5-3-2. With McGinn, Luiz and Tielemans being the three in the midfield, then Bailey and Watkins the two up front. That's how Villa are setting up when they're out of possession. Kulusevski, ball across, straight to Bailey in the centre circle. Really poor giveaway from Kulusevski. Tries to find Watkins through, but Tielemans was the better option on the left. And it was cut out by Van de Ven. Surely he had to go to Tielemans on the left, who seemed to have found a huge space. It was Maddison with his ball in behind for Son with the outside of his boot. Was almost perfect, but just skidded off the surface and into the gloves of Martinez. That is something Maddison brings. That outside of the boot ball. Looking for his 40th Premier League assist today. Maddison is again Villa going behind, and they find Watkins this time. Edge of the box on the left-hand side. Got Romero closest to him. Getting close to him, Romero. But Watkins can feed it out to the right to Cash. Through for Bailey, who's onside. Towards the byline. Right-footed pull. Back comes off Bazuma. Cash pokes forward. And wide it goes. McGinn wants a corner. They won't get one. Good hold-up play from Watkins on the edge of the area to keep the ball away from the aggressive Romero. Cash with a timed ball through to Bailey, who'd kept himself onside. As it went through, it came off Bazuma, back towards Cash at that near post, who couldn't strike the ball on target. And Van de Ven brings it away for Tottenham. Forward to Udogi, just come inside into a more central area from fullback. Son, first time ball, can't find Brennan Johnson on the left wing. And it's back with Aston Villa once again in their centre circle with Douglas Luiz. Long lane across to Konsa, midway side his own half. He's got options behind him, and that's what he'll use. The goalkeeper, Martinez, who only ever played in one North London derby, and it was away from home in the 2019-2020 season, the campaign before he left for Aston Villa. As Son passes it through towards Kulusevski. It'll reach him as it deflected, but he's tackled well in the end, and Aston Villa deal with it on the edge of the box now with left-back Digne, who got the winner last week, late on off the bench against Luton Town. A really big 3 points in the end for Aston Villa, which put them 5 clear of Spurs. Just under half an hour played here. Cash bringing it to a more central area, then going back to Martinez as he's been tracked all the way there from Udogi. Now Konsa in the edge, in the 18-yard box, needs to clear it, comes off Johnson, and back to Konsa, gets away with it here. He just needs to get rid of Konsa in a right-back position. Still trying to keep it, shielding it to the corner flag here. Got himself in a spot to bother Ezri Konsa. as he eventually clears it. And the last touch, I presume, comes off Johnson, and it'll be an Aston Villa throw-in. So sometimes you just need to get rid, and Concert wasn't doing that. And they've got a throw in Aston Villa, but it's right next to this corner flag on the near side. Throws it short to Louise. Last touch off Maddison. And out it goes for a goal kick. It's been a very, I'd say, both. It's hard to describe, because although Tottenham dominated a lot of the possession for the first 20 minutes, they didn't do a lot with it in terms of actually challenging Emi Martinez. And Aston Villa have definitely grown into the game in the last 10. It's made it a little bit more even. But I think Ange Postecoglou will be slightly frustrated with his team, with the fact they haven't done enough with the possession. They're still yet to have a shot on goal, Tottenham, despite having so much of the ball. Throw in here for Aston Villa, kept in by Watkins, is it? No, it isn't. It's just gone out of play. Just inside the Tottenham half on the far side, it'll be thrown for Pedro Porro, who has got 2 Spanish appearances to his name, both in March, but both in different years. Featured for them in March 2021, then once again in 2023, so he had to wait 2 years for his return. And in that appearance that he made for Spain in 2023, it was a defeat away to Scotland. This time it's a Spurs free kick right about where the throw-in was taken. Bailey just bringing down Sarr. Aston Villa have won 4 of their last 5 in the Premier League, against teams you'd expect them to beat: Sheffield United, Fulham, Forest and Luton. And did pick that defeat up against Manchester United a month ago now. 2-1 at home. Late winner from McTominay. Tottenham on the ball. Midway side of their own half here, with Romero, goes across to his centre-back partner, Van der Ven. Now to the near side here to Brennan Johnson, exactly on the halfway line. Forced to go back here to Van der Ven as he had Cash close to him. Now Vicario. Out to the right here to Romero. All Aston Villa players are behind the ball, as it's still with the Italian goalkeeper, Vicario, who before joining Spurs played 2 full Serie A seasons, keeping 15 clean sheets in 73 appearances. As Johnson forward to Son, tackled strongly by Longley, but he can reclaim the ball here. Son then through the legs of Cash. Does he have the pace on Konsa? Yes, he does. Son touches it through towards Maddison, and the referee doesn't give anything. Maddison stopped, thinking that Son was going to win a free kick for being pulled down, but the referee gave nothing, and instead Maddison got distracted and couldn't get on the end of the ball in the box. Poor that from Maddison, just needs to concentrate and play to the whistle. But Tottenham can come again in the final third with Brennan Johnson. Here's Maddison, outside the boot ball again, curling away from Son, and dealt with by Digne in the end, slamming the ball forward in behind for Watkins. Vicario is far off his line, towards the halfway line to deal with it, and plays it into Van der Ven, who brings it into the Villa half here. Forward to Maddison, can't turn on Cash, and the counter-attack is on. Van der Ven's out of position. Basuma's covering. Bailey on the right-hand side here. 1-on-1 with Basuma. Entering the box here, Bailey. Brought down by Basuma, straight back to his feet. Nothing given there by the referee. Went down too easily there, Bailey. I think Basuma did the best he could there, as he had to cover at centre-half of Van der Ven. 2 very different players in terms of a defensive proposition there for Bailey. The absolute rapid speedster of Van der Ven, and then the quite a little bit slower Basuma. But he did well there, Basuma, because Bailey is dangerous. And he recently signed a contract extension at Aston Villa, the Jamaican. There he is, Kulusevski in the final third. Right-footed cross goes in. Strong header from Longley towards the penalty spot. And away it goes to Udogie, who can head it back out wide left here to Johnson, who kept himself onside here. Johnson running at Cash here. Into the box on the outside of Cash. Onto his left foot. Crosses it. Deflects. Behind. And that'll be a corner. Still causing Cash problems, Johnson, in this first half so far. Let's have a look at this. Basuma just getting a good touch to the ball, and then Bailey went over onto the ground. I feel that's a bit of a waste opportunity for Bailey, as he wasn't coming up against Van der Ven, as the free kick, as the corner's been taken, and it falls to Maddison, who shoots, comes off Watkins, back off Maddison. Goal kick for Villa. Didn't see how the free kick. Didn't see how the goal. Didn't see how the corner was taken there. They were still showing replays from the Bailey Basuma one-on-one. But it fell to Maddison in the area on the angle, and he tried to go across goal to that far right-hand side of the net, but blocked by Watkins. And back off Maddison, and we've got a goal kick here with Martinez playing this one long beyond the halfway line, looking for Watkins, who's shoved over by Romero. Nothing given by the referee, and it's Tottenham on the ball in their own half here. It's with number 8, Basuma. Goes out to this near side here to Udogie. Beyond the halfway line, plays it forward here to Brennan Johnson, who again is isolated with Cash. Doesn't want to run at him this time, goes back here to Udogie. It's now Maddison, who's just come out to this left-hand side a lot of times in this opening 35 minutes. Not really found himself too often on the right-hand side, as Tottenham have shifted it to this far side here with Romero on halfway. It's now Basuma in the centre circle, back to Romero. Time on the ball, Aston Villa aren't being too aggressive with their press, just staying in shape. Maddison in that deep line playmaking role finds Basuma, then out to the left here to Udogie. Touch is good, drives inside, and plays it back out looking for the run of Son. Good interception by Konsa, who's then pulled to the ground by Udogie on the edge of the box. Free kick for Aston Villa. Nearly came off that for Spurs. It was a good run by Son in behind, and he was nearly found by Destiny Udogie, who spent last season on loan with Udinese, the team they brought him from last season, but sent him back on loan. He clearly felt he wasn't ready for the Premier League last season, but he's really lived up to the potential he has. Destiny Udogie, at the age of 21 now, signed a new contract at Spurs in December of last year till 2030. As Aston Villa eventually take the free kick. It's to this far side to Longley, who goes high up towards Watkins, who just flick it on straight to Van de Ven. Nowhere near a Aston Villa player. Bit too easy there for Spurs to win the ball back. And it's now with Udogie on this near side. About 5 yards inside the Aston Villa half. Goes back into Van de Ven, who's got time on the ball here. Forward to Maddison. Back to Van de Ven. Bailey closing him down. Forces him backwards to Vicario. It's now Van de Ven again, who has to chop backwards, and Bailey's on his case. Can just about work it to Vicario, forward to Basuma, then out wide to Romero. Well worked in the end there by Spurs, as Maddison, tackle from behind by McGinn, illegally, and that's a free kick for Tottenham, just inside their own half towards the right-hand side, and Maddison wants to take it quickly, in behind for Brennan Johnson, who touches it down, away from Cash for the moment, in the corner of the box on the left-hand side. Johnson tries to go for the run-through by Son, cut out by Cash, cleared, thrown for Tottenham. Son went to make the run. Johnson saw it and played it, then Son just stopped the run, which I found quite strange, which meant when the ball went through, Son was a bit late to it, which allowed Cash to get there and clear. So Udogie back to the halfway line now to Van de Ven, and then across into the centre circle here to Romero, who's picked up 3 yellow cards in his previous 4 against Aston Villa. So usually in line for a booking, Romero, especially against Aston Villa. Basuma out to the far side here to Porro. Midway side the Aston Villa half. Lifts it in towards the edge of the box here, where it's headed away by Konsa. And won by McGinn. Cleaned up by Van de Ven, who slides across the ground. And Johnson keeps it in, kicking it off McGinn. And it's a throw-in for Spurs on this near side. As Udogie throws it across to Maddison. Back it goes into the centre circle here to Romero. Time on the ball for the Argentine World Cup winner. Now with Basuma on the edge of the centre circle. Son back to Van de Ven. Back out to this near side to Johnson, who's probably been Spurs' dangerous player this first half. I've been impressed with his performance, causing Cash a lot of worries. There's Maddison. Sprays it out to the right here to Kulusevski. Can't get away from Digne. Strong tackle from the Frenchman. And it's a throw-in on that far side for Tottenham. Not seen much battling between Kulusevski and Digne, but Digne won that one. He scored his first Premier League goal since November 2022 last week, away at Luton. Throwing goes to Maddison. Back towards the halfway line again to Romero. They're not afraid to just restart Tottenham. There's Basuma on this right flank for Tottenham. Finds Porro. Oh, great skill to get away from Tielemans, but Free kick goes to Tottenham there. I think Maddison was brought down as he released the ball. So now with Romero. Across to Van de Ven. Who has the ball, the Dutch centre-half. Finding Basuma. Across to Romero. Spurs are being allowed to keep the ball, but they are being frustrated with this Aston Villa setup of a 5-3-2. Struggling to get through and into dangerous areas. Not laid a glove on the Aston Villa goal at the moment, despite looking so good with the ball. They're moving it around nicely, but like I say, that final passing behind or into the spaces is just not coming off at the moment. Still with Spurs. Just inside their own half here. Out to the near side to Udogie. And then back into Van de Ven. Slowly. Having Bailey jog towards him, but he can move it across here to Romero. Thank you to everyone who's here. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Got 2 commentaries coming early next week. Got one tomorrow. Chelsea, Newcastle in the Premier League. And then we've got Arsenal, Porto in the Champions League on the Tuesday. There's Cash. Can intercept a deflected Tottenham ball. And it's been worked back by McGinn to Martinez, who can slam the ball forward down the Aston Villa right on the halfway line. It's a free header for Van de Ven. Nods it down calmly to Udogie, and Tottenham can just build again. It's not making it stick up front at all. Aston Villa, when they try and go long, they're having a little bit of joy going in behind, but if it doesn't go in behind, they're not winning the first ball. And Porro, miscommunication with Kulusevski, who can win it back. Short ball by Digne. Kulusevski goes back out to the right to Maddison, who's got options all around him, and eventually plays it out to the left here to Udogie. Now out to Johnson in the final third, running at Cash in the box, onto his left foot, puts it low in towards the near post, straight at Martinez, who very calmly collected and didn't let the ball go, didn't spill it at all, allowing Tottenham to get on any second balls. Needs to be better, that. I hope that doesn't go down as a shot, because it certainly wasn't meant as a shot by Johnson. But it is a ball towards goal. Martinez goes long here, up in the air towards Watkins. It bounces beyond him and Romero, and then dealt with by Porro on the edge of the box. Heads it to his goalkeeper, Vicario, who then throws out to left back Udogie. He wants to go forward quickly, goes inside to Maddison, beyond the halfway line, tackled strongly by Luiz. Ball goes in the air. Luiz chests it down to McGinn, who can try and release it. But he's tackled by Udogie, but then wins it back and then tripped, and it's an Aston Villa free kick. Used his body really well, the number 7. John McGinn. Presuming that's got to be a free kick, hasn't it? Surely. Don't tell me he's giving that as a throw-in. I'm presuming it was a free kick. I didn't see it taken. They were doing a close-up on Johnson, but Aston Villa have gone back here. It's now with Martinez on the edge of his box. Son closing him down quickly. Goes to his right to Konsa. Forward towards McGinn. Tackle by Basuma. Forward by Johnson to Son. In the area. Back through for Johnson, who can square the ball. Cut out by Longley on the 6-yard line. And it's now in a right-back position with Luiz. And Aston Villa survive. Being caught out at the back. But the clearance is poor as well. Van de Ven heads forward. Basuma to the left here to Son. In his old left-wing position. Goes back here to Udogie. Inside to Basuma. About 30 yards from goal here. Goes out to the right to Porro. Now into Romero. There's Tottenham camp inside the Aston Villa half. We've got a minute of the 45 left to play. Romero, short ball to Van de Ven. Picked up by Bailey. Through for Watkins, who's got Romero closest to him. Watkins in the area, on his left foot. Stops it, onto his right. Good block from Romero. Still alive in the area. Watkins, outside the box he goes. Lifts it into the area for Digne, who turns forward. Kicks it off Basuma. Corner kick on the far side for Aston Villa. Huge chance for Watkins. It's not quite been his afternoon so far, but again, Tottenham gifting Aston Villa opportunities on the break. It was Romero that time on halfway. And played through to Watkins, who wanted to get it onto that right foot, which I'm surprised with because we've seen him so many times hit it cleanly with that left foot. Despite it being his weaker side, he can definitely hit them, but wanted it on the right foot, and it allowed Romero to get across and block. It'll be a Tielemans corner, right-footed in-swinger. Right before the break here, goes short to Leon Bailey. And on the angle now is McGinn. Crosses low. Headed on by Digne. And wide it goes. Towards the far post. It wasn't far away. He scored a header last weekend. Luca Digne. That one just went wide as we've had a minute indicated. Added on. Brilliant ball in from McGinn. Towards the near post. Headed on by Digne. At the near post, he was alone. And it was looping, it was curling, and it wasn't too far wide. There's Tottenham build from the back here. With right back Porro. Inside to Son. First time ball forward to Sarr. Maddison's making a run in behind. Can't get it forward to him. Konsa intercepts. And it's now with McGinn on halfway. And as Sarr played the ball towards Maddison, he went down injured. And he's still injured. As Tottenham win it back here. But they'll keep on attacking. Udogie out to the left here to Johnson. One-on-one with Cash. Low ball into Maddison in the box. Shaped up one-on-one here with Konsa. Forced out of the area here, Maddison. He goes to the central area here to Sarr. Porro. We've played the minute added on here. And that's where the referee will blow for half-time. Pape Sarr has gone back down for Tottenham, so we'll have to keep an eye out on him. But it's been an eventful first half without too many huge opportunities. It's been very much Tottenham in the possession. 70% of the ball, but just the one shot on goal. And for Aston Villa, they've had opportunities on the break. A lot of them gifted to them from sloppy Spurs passes. We had Watkins with an attempt there in the end of the first half where it was blocked by Romero. Also at the end of the first half there, we had a Digne header, which just curled wide of the far post. You can tell it's a game that means a lot for both sides. You can tell that both don't want to lose it. But at the minute, a team needs to look like they want to win it. Because at the moment, it's all square. It's deadlocked. And at half-time here, at Villa Park, it is Aston Villa 0. Spurs 0. A strange first half. There's been incidents. There's been opportunities. Aston Villa have looked dangerous on the break. Like I say, two big opportunities at the end of the half with Watkins and Digne. But for all Tottenham's possession, just to have one shot, which was off target, they've got to be offering more than that. With having so much of the ball, and it just looks like they've struggled because, like I say, Aston Villa setting up in a 5-3-2 without the ball, really condensing the spaces for Spurs to work in. But if the away side want to win this game and get within 2 points of Aston Villa with a game in hand, then they've got to look more dangerous. I'm not sure if they need to move it quicker or try and work better spaces or whatever it may be. Spurs need to change something because it's just too easy for Aston Villa at the moment. They're happy for them to have the ball because they're not doing anything with it. And Aston Villa know when they win the ball, which they will do, and they have plenty of times in this first half, that they've got Watkins and Bailey up front to cause issues on the counter-attack because they are absolutely rapid, Watkins and Bailey. So Spurs need to change something. I think Aston Villa just need to do a bit more of the same, but just be a bit more clinical, be a bit more dangerous. There's just times where they're lacking that real conviction up front. You know, when they're marauding forward on the counter-attack, it doesn't necessarily look like they believe they're going to score from it. So if they can change that, look a bit more positive, then this game can change. It just screams to me, this game, that neither side wants to lose. That's what it looks like to me. Both teams are a little bit scared to go behind in case they can't get back in it. So I feel like if a team just kind of goes for it, they might be rewarded. Again, obviously, it could go the other way where they might go for it too much and get done on the counter-attack or done via a mistake. But at the moment, if both teams continue playing the way they are, we could possibly see a 0-0. I don't want to tempt that because we don't want 0-0s, and we haven't had a draw in this fixture since May 2012. And we've gone 20 games in all competitions without a draw between these two, which is absolutely crazy. But you know, some games just have winners and losers, and this is one of them. Just not many times we've had a stalemate. But yeah, at the moment it just seems a bit too tentative, and both sides don't really look like they want to take the game at the moment, which is understandable. It's a big game. We've run out of games this season. You know, after this one, Aston Villa will have 10 games left. Tottenham will have 11 because they have a game in hand. And I think for Tottenham, there's a lot more to lose, I think. Because if Tottenham go behind, and they lose, they'll be 8 points off Aston Villa in fourth. Yes, they'll have a game in hand, but that game in hand is Chelsea away. And no matter how bad Chelsea are doing or will be doing at that point when that game's played, Chelsea will always get up for it. And a derby against Tottenham, especially at Stamford Bridge. So it's not like it's a given that Tottenham will win that game in hand. And if they were to go 8 behind Villa, it just seems like a quite a big mountain to climb. And I think the effect of it as well will be that Aston Villa will gain so much confidence if they win this. Because, like I said, they've started to rediscover their form in the league. 4 wins from 5 in the league. Got a decent draw away at Ajax on the Thursday as well. But it is a big next few days for Aston Villa. Obviously got this game to finish off, and they're back here on Thursday to play that second leg against Ajax, and then they've got West Ham away next Sunday, and then they have Wolves at home, who are having a terrific season under Gary O'Neill at the moment. They currently sit 8th place. And then for Tottenham, they've got, Europe, and they're not in the FA Cup anymore, so they've got quite a clean schedule at the moment. They've got Luton, so they've got Fulham away next week, and then they have a 14-day break due to the international break, and they play Luton at home and West Ham away. So some difficult fixtures coming up for both, but they'll definitely be favourites for all those games. But there's definitely a plan for Aston Villa, isn't it? It's very direct, just going long, looking in behind, looking for Watkins and Bailey to get on loose scraps and loose pieces. And they've done it decently so far. And, I think that shows Emery and why he is such a good head coach. Because he's so flexible, Unai Emery. His teams can play on the floor, or they can play off the floor, they can go long and be direct. They can kind of do both. They can do the ugly side of it and go direct, and they can do the more good-looking side of it and be a bit more on the floor, passing it around. And they've got the players to do both. They've got a really well-balanced squad. They've got players who can play the nice football, and they've also got the players who can do the ugly side of it and go long in behind, getting runners up there and pushing up and squashing those spaces for Spurs to work in. And, with Spurs deploying such a high line, I think it just makes complete sense for Aston Villa to go for those long balls in behind and try and catch Spurs out, because, law of averages, you kind of think that every now and then Aston Villa will get in behind, so it's just about getting in behind and taking the chances. But yeah, at the minute it's just been a little bit too tentative for me, but it's definitely Aston Villa who have had the better chances, even though a lot of the chances have been more half chances than anything. Just Spurs have done absolutely nothing with their high load of possession. But they did get off to such a good start in the season, Tottenham, 8 wins from their first 10, 26 points from 30. And then injuries started to hit. Van der Ven went out, Maddison was out. They lost Basuma for a lot of games with red cards. Adogi's had his time out. Porro's also missed the last 3. So it's almost like since that start to the season, they've just had injuries here and there, and they've never really had a fully strengthened full 11 out. Probably until today, really, where they've got their bodies back and they're going full strength. But the big games that Tottenham do have left, they've got Newcastle away, Manchester City at home, and Arsenal at home in April, and they've got Liverpool away in May. So from the 11 games they've got left after today, they've got 4 really difficult fixtures, which will obviously be a good sight for Aston Villa, who will be wanting to finish above Spurs this season. So it's not going to get any easier for Tottenham. And for Aston Villa, they have 3 wins in a row in the Premier League at the moment, scoring 9 and conceding 5. So although they're winning, Aston Villa, they are also conceding goals, but at the moment this is goalless, and it's a game that if you've watched it, you know it's a 0-0 written all over it at the moment. The Aston Villa chances haven't been really big enough for me to really get themselves in front or want the lead. second half will be getting underway very shortly. And I think it's going to be one of those games as well where, I mean, it might be different for Aston Villa because they've had Europe on Thursday and they've also got Europe again this Thursday coming against Ajax. But I think it's definitely because it's such a tight game at the moment. It's one of them where you don't really want to make a change, because if anyone you're going to bring on, they need to get up to speed with the game instantly, and it's almost a factor of, do the managers want to disrupt the flow of their team to make a change, because it can go one way. You can make a change and they come on and they provide a moment of brilliance, or they come on, they get to the grips of the game too slowly, they're not on it straight away, they might give away a cheap bit of possession, then you go on and concede. So it's just that risk and reward that I don't think any of the teams are really thinking about at the moment. I don't think they're thinking about taking any risks. I think, to me, at the moment, from that first half, it looks like both teams would take a point, which you can understand more with Tottenham coming away from home. They haven't won away from home since December against Nottingham Forest. They've lost. They've not won any of their last 3 away games. But for Aston Villa, they're above Tottenham in the league. They're at home. I want them to look more confident on the ball, and when they're going direct, I want them. There just needs to be a bit more aggression to it. I don't know, just something more. It just seems a bit too, like both teams are really just almost a level backwards, just not wanting to show too much, really give anything away. I don't know, just seems a bit too just, I don't know what the words are. You understand, I'm presuming you understand what I'm saying. It's just, none of the teams really want to give themselves away in case they end up going behind. But as we are at the moment, we are all level at 0-0, and we'll get the second half underway in a couple of minutes. We've got plenty of commentaries coming up before the international break, as we have got the international break not next week but the week after. So we've got one more week of club football, and we've got, I think, 4 commentaries coming up next week. Yes, we do. We have Chelsea Newcastle tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and then we've got Arsenal and Porto on the Tuesday at 8 o'clock as well. Then on the Thursday, we've got the second leg of the Europa League last 16 fixture between Rangers and Benfica. And then we've got 2 on the Sunday as well. We've got Brighton women taking on Manchester City women in the WSL. That's a really nail-biting title race at the moment. And then we've got Atletico Madrid against Barcelona in La Liga on the Sunday again, as well, on a later kick-off. I think it's 8 o'clock. So we've actually got 5 next week, which is the most we've ever done in one week. Yeah, because we're doing the Monday games. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then 2 on Sunday. So 5 commentaries next week, which is going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them. And if you are new, if you could like, subscribe, get those numbers up. Let's see how many subscribers we are on before we commence for the second half here at Villa Park. 1,233. That is such a fantastic number to see. If we could boost that number up even more, that would be absolutely fantastic. As we also do have a huge game at the top of the table. This is just near the top, just below for the 4th position. But at the top, Liverpool taking on Manchester City at Anfield. That is going to be an absolute cracker of a fixture. And we need to see who takes that 3. But I think it will be a similar game to this one, or just maybe it could be different. I don't know, but that is a game that Liverpool or City, they will not want to lose for sure. And again, it's almost trying to find that balance of going for the win, but also making sure you don't leave anything behind where you could be vulnerable to conceding a goal. So I think that'll be a very cagey game at Anfield, and I think it will be the team who go for it more will be rewarded. I think it's all about mindset in these big games, and if you're tentative and worried or scared, then it will punish you one way or another. So that'll be another close game. Looking forward to watching that one in just under 2 hours' time now, 3:45 kickoff, that one at Anfield. There is Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's made a few comments in the week, talking about Manchester City's titles and it meaning more to Liverpool when they win a title compared to City. Which, a comment, I mean, I understand why he's made it, kind of riling it up a little bit, bringing a bit more heat to the fixture, making it a bit more of a hostile atmosphere, which is exactly what Liverpool want. It's almost like Alexander-Arnold's made the comment for a reason. You know, everyone knows that Anfield and Liverpool, they perform better when the atmosphere is hostile and it's a bit, not nasty, but just, you know, there's tensions there. They perform better when the atmosphere is like that. So a comment like that is obviously going to rile up the City players a little bit, I presume. I mean, they're only human. It'll obviously have a bit of an effect on the City fans' mindsets, just in terms of it's just a comment where you obviously got to respond. So I think it's quite clever from Alexander-Arnold to make a comment like that, because he knows what he's doing. And like I say, I don't think he would have made the comment if it was at the Etihad. I think he's made it because it's at Anfield, and it just brings that hostile atmosphere a little bit more to the game. So we're going to get back underway here. Aston Villa kicking right to left, Spurs left to right. It is the home side with kick-off for the second half here. Still 0-0. Not the best first halves we've ever seen in the Premier League, but I think it's just two sides just trying to work each other out. But we're back underway here. Martinez on the ball in the 18-yard box for Villa. Goes to the left centre-half here of Longley. Inside towards Tielemans. Deflects off Sarr. Straight to McGinn. So Aston Villa fortunately keep the ball there. And it's out to the far side here to Cash. Wants to go forward here and will drive the ball forward. Lays it off behind him to McGinn, who goes over the top out here back to Cash. Brilliant 1-2. Cash in behind on the right-hand side. Cuts in onto his left foot. Strikes in and it deflects off Van der Ven. And it rolls out to the opposite flank here where it'll be collected by Kulusevski. Keeps the ball away from Torres. Back it goes to Porro. Forward to Sarr. Then on once more here to Kulusevski. Just goes out of play. Throwing on halfway for Aston Villa. But a quick start for the home team. Solid 1-2 there between McGinn and Cash to get the Polish full back in behind. And as he cut inside onto his left foot, lacked the conviction, but Van der Ven was very close anyway, so the shot didn't really go anywhere there from Cash, as he's looking for his third Premier League goal of the season. Just the two already, and they both came away at Burnley early on in the season. As Aston Villa are back on the ball here, and he gives it away, Cash. Maddison forward to Son. It's a giveaway, it's a gift, but Son can't capitalise. Tried to play the ball through for Johnson on the left side of the box, but it was intercepted, and it'll be Aston Villa's turn now to bring it forward with Pau Torres. He's got Digne in front of him to the left. He'll play it into the path of the Frenchman, who's in the final third. Loads of time here for Digne, who just takes his time himself, goes back into Torres on the edge of the area. On his left foot, playing it through to Bailey, who's stayed onside. Bailey slams it forward, and it's blocked, and I think a free kick's been given to Spurs. I think Bailey had just gone offside. Yeah, just slightly gone early there, the Jamaican, as he was slotted through by Torres. Hit that with power. Good block by Van der Ven, but would not have stood as an offside flag rightly went up there. Oh, no. For Tottenham Hotspur. They're about to take the free kick for the offside, and Van der Ven's gone down, just touching the left hamstring. He's already been out this season with a muscle injury. He missed 9 games altogether after he was injured against Chelsea on the 6th of November. And Tottenham are going to be forced into an early second half change here. The 22-year-old Mickey Van der Ven will take no further part in the game. Radu Dragusin, who will be coming on for Tottenham, the centre-back they signed in January from Genoa, he was doing a very thorough warm-up at half-time, so clearly it was an issue that Tottenham were aware of, and they've tried to get Van der Ven out there for the second half see if he can continue. But clearly, a couple of minutes into this second half, he's realised he cannot take any more part. Maybe the block had something to do with it. He sprinted across and flung himself at it, stretching his muscles to block the shot. And maybe that's done him the damage that he really didn't need. And it's the danger that Tottenham didn't want of losing him again. But it looks like his day is done. And that could be a big positive for Aston Villa as Radu Dragusin, the Romanian centre-back, comes on for just his 4th Spurs appearance. They've all been off the bench. He hasn't featured in the last 3 games for Tottenham. And he's inexperienced at Premier League level, despite being a strong centre-half in Serie A. And that's a big change at the start of the second half. Mickey van der Ven off, injured for Radu Dragusin. As we're back underway here, Kulusevski 1-2 with Porro. Run being made behind here by Sarr, who will get onto it. It just deflects out wide. Flag stays down for the moment. Sarr stays on his feet, crosses towards Maddison, and into the back of the net it goes. Tottenham take the lead here at Villa Park. And it's James Maddison with the goal. The offside flag has remained down for now. And Tottenham take a huge lead here. It's Maddison's first goal since the 23rd of October. He's had a long layoff with injury, and he's starting to find his form once again. And 5 minutes into this second half, Aston Villa 0, Tottenham 1. Started from the Tottenham right. Kulusevski completing a 1-2 with Porro, and he just put it into the space down the right channel there, Kulusevski. And Sarr, well onside. The pass deflected, taking him a bit further wide than he would have wanted to, but Sarr didn't let that discourage him from getting that cross in. A wicked ball into the 6-yard box, where Maddison was the furthest forward for Tottenham. And as the ball went in, whipped onto his left foot. He was sandwiched in between Konsa and Cash, but he was the one to get there first. Left-footed into the back of the net. Unstoppable for Martinez, who tried his best but was never going to stop that from slamming the back of the goal. And we were looking for a team in this game to really go for the goal and go for the lead. Tottenham have done that early in this second half, and they have been rewarded for their risk of attacking this Aston Villa backline. And they lead 1-0 here early in the second half. And it's Maddison's first goal since October. Big goal for Tottenham. They make the gap 2 points to Aston Villa now with a game in hand. So it's all to do now for the home side. Tielemans, 25 yards from goal. On his own, he's going to let fly. Deflects into the air. Vicario comes out and it eventually drops to him, as he was being challenged there by Bailey. And after such a negative moment for Tottenham, with Van der Ven coming off, to then flip that around a minute later and go up the other end and score is brilliant, and that could breed confidence. Maddison to Son, lays it off to Udogie in the Aston Villa half, charging on the far side. Goes back inside to Son, who touches it through for Udogie, and his touch is just too far ahead of him. Goes straight through for Martinez. So close there for Udogie, as Tottenham were looking for a quick fire second. For Maddison, it's his 4th goal against Aston Villa. 2 of them were in the Premier League. 3 of them now in the Premier League, and they've all come at Villa Park. And he has scored in his 180th Premier League appearance. James Maddison, who gets his 4th goal of the season. And it's all for Aston Villa to do now. And for Aston... Oh, they're giving it away. Tielemans, tackled by Kulusevski. Son in the area, lays it through. Johnson with the shot! He lifts it into the roof of the net. And Tottenham score a second. Johnson has been a constant threat all game, causing Cash constant issues. And he's been rewarded with his solid performance with a goal. He's now got 3 goals in his last 6 games. Brennan Johnson, despite not starting the last 3. Last week, he was provider with 2 assists. This week, he's bringing the goals. Konsa driving into the centre of midfield, playing a pass towards Tielemans, just behind him. And it allowed Kulusevski to take the ball off him, playing it through to Son, who down the centre of the pitch had options left and right, went to his left to Johnson, who got the shot off ahead of Louise, who was sliding in to try and block the shot. But Johnson lifted it above Martinez into the Aston Villa goal. And in all competitions, within a matter of minutes, Aston Villa conceded their 50th and 51st goal of the season. And it's Tottenham who have taken a lead here. And they've doubled it rapidly. And the goal stands, no offsides in the build-up. And it's Aston Villa 0. Spurs 2. What a start to this second half. We know what Ange Postecoglou is like as a head coach and a manager. He's front-footed. He wants to try and get in front in games and play positive. And I guarantee, in that half-time changing room, he has said for his side to play with more freedom and to go for it. I think he's told them to take risks, try and take the game. And exactly what they've done. And they've been more than rewarded for that. Just more creative, just more confidence, just not scared of the outcome of possibly losing the ball. They were only thinking of keeping the ball and going up the other end and scoring. Vicario has it in the 18-yard box, plays it low out to the right back. Porro being closed down here by Tielemans. He goes up towards Heung-min Son, goes into the space. Longley will get there first and goes back to Martinez. As it is Aston Villa, they were struggling to keep clean sheets now. They've kept 2 clean sheets in their last 12, including today, as Cash fouled there from behind. As Tottenham up to attack quickly in the Aston Villa half. It's now on the near side here with Digne, 10 yards away from the halfway line, gets beyond Kulusevski, but his pass deflects off Romero, straight to Torres for Aston Villa. It's now Louise, who can move it back here to Longley. And during his loan spell at Tottenham, Clermont Longley, he played 35 times, scored once for them in the Champions League, made 26 appearances for them in the Premier League. It's now with Martinez in the 6-yard box. Across it goes to Longley to keep the ball away from Son. Now into the centre of the park here to Tielemans. Over the top ball here for Bailey, who will chase it. Dragusin will get there first in the 18-yard box. The Romanian centre-back dribbles out towards the corner flag. Clears it down the line here for Udogie. Keeps it away from Cash. Goes inside to Basuma. Then forward and out wide here to Johnson, the goal scorer of the second. Can't keep it away from Konsa and Cash, who take it off the Welsh international. Tielemans through towards Watkins. Vital interception on the edge of the box by Romero. Watkins would have been in there. But it's Porro on the near side to bring it forward to the halfway line to Kulusevski. Keeps the ball away from Digne. Back into Sarr. Then into Maddison. Switches it to the left here to Johnson. Overhit. Throw in for Villa. As it's going to be a double change here. Triple change for the home side. It's going to be Moreno, Diaby and Zaniolo to come on. So the first change we'll see. Clement Longley, the centre-back. He'll be replaced by Zaniolo. So a defender off for an attacker. So it looks like they're going to get rid of this 5-at-the-back system they were using. Tielemans off for Diaby. And Moreno, I presume, will have a like-for-like swap. Yep. Digne off for Moreno. And Alex Moreno, the Spanish left-back who is coming on, had started the last 8 Premier League games in a row. Was brought out for Digne today. He was making his first start since Boxing Day. So it's a triple change for Aston Villa, who have been completely stunned in the start of this second half with Tottenham's attacking freedom. Free kick just 10 yards inside the Villa half here on the right-hand side. Maddison pulling down McGinn. Taken quickly. Down the right-hand side here to Bailey. Cash overlapping. Feeds it in towards him, but cut out by Udogie. Now into Maddison. Out wide left there is Heung-min Son. Just inside his own half here. Running away from McGinn. Son charging down, but McGinn recovers, challenging him from behind and winning the ball. It's now McGinn who gets beyond one challenge and then brought down with the second. Udogie fouling him. Free kick taken quickly by McGinn into the space for Bailey as Udogie's out of position. Bailey puts it across, blocked by Dragisin. Threw himself at it. And it's Tottenham who can bring the ball away. Don't think there's many more attacking changes that Emery can do in terms of strengthening the team. So it's got to work, these changes, for the Spanish head coach of Aston Villa. It's now with Sarr. Maddison, who's literally alongside Dragisin, the centre-back. Still showing how deep Maddison is dropping for the ball. Plays it forward out to the left to Johnson. Son making the running behind, down that left channel. Finds him. Son knows Kulusevski's in behind. Looks for him across goal. It's just overhit. Kulusevski will keep it alive on the near side. Finding Porro. Back heels it into Kulusevski. Now Sarr. Back out to the right to Porro in the final third. He's got Zaniolo in front of him. Porro relays it back into Sarr. Then all the way back towards the halfway line now to Romero. Tottenham Hotspur keep possession. As they lead 2-0. Dragisin. Sarr flicks it forward for Porro. Now to Maddison. Looking out wide right to Kulusevski. Deflects towards him. Headed away by Moreno. All as far as Sarr for Tottenham, who's already assisted once today for the Maddison goal. And he'll take the ball backwards here on the near side. And then Basuma out to Porro. Through for Kulusevski. Tries the first time cross to Maddison. Deflects off Torres. Corner kick for Tottenham on this near side. Who now look like they're going to score with every attack they have. That wasn't the case in the first half. Kulusevski goes short with the corner to Porro. Crosses in. Header away by Torres. Kept alive by Kulusevski. Who's tackled by Bailey. Loose ball drops to McGinn, who is pulled down there by Dragisin. Free kick for Tottenham. McGinn wants to go quickly, and he tries to. But as he does take it, it deflects off Dragisin, who's seen to have been blocking the quick free kick. So he will be booked. The Tottenham substitute, Raghu Dragisin, who was stood in the way as McGinn wanted to take quickly. So yellow card for the Romanian, his first in Tottenham colours. As it's now Aston Villa on the ball, on the halfway line with Ezri Konsa. He's got Son following in behind. Goes out to the right to Cash. Forward to Leon Bailey. He's on the halfway line. Back to the goalkeeper, Martinez. Being pressed well there by Udogie, forcing him backwards. Konsa forward to Watkins. He's just dropped deep for the ball here, but Romero's followed him and takes the ball off him. It's now Maddison, who goes back to Dragisin, as he was nearly dispossessed there by Diaby. And now he's back with Vicario on the edge of the 18-yard box for Tottenham. But they haven't been keeping plenty of clean sheets themselves, Tottenham, at the moment, which isn't great viewing for the away side. It's kept 5 clean sheets altogether this season. Tottenham 3 away against Bournemouth, Luton and Forest. But yeah, not fantastic defensively away from home this season. Torres looks for a ball in behind, headed forward by Romero, straight to Zaniolo, whose ball forward deflects twice, and eventually to Moreno, so Villa keep the ball in the Tottenham half. Louise, away from the challenger Maddison, out to the right to Bailey, through to Diaby, who's offside. Got to time the run better there, Moussa Diaby off the bench, who's not started any of the last 6 games now for Aston Villa. Their record signing from Leverkusen, £51.9 million. And he provided the beautiful assist last week for the Digne winner at Luton. But didn't time the run there as Vicario's gone in behind it. And Son will collect it in the area. Son on the angle and well defended there by Torres. Big slide challenge on Kulusevski as well. And it was picked up by Pape Sarr. Looks like Son may have been in behind there, but Torres was equal to it. It just seems like just such more of a calm performance from Tottenham second half. It's like they do have the belief to take the game and win the game. And they've done exactly that. On this near side, halfway line, Porro. Back through to Romero. Just getting it through the legs there of Ollie Watkins. It's now Porro. ball inside, deflects off Zaniolo, but straight to Son, then to Kulusevski's quick ball down the line, wanted to find Maddison, but couldn't quite keep it in play. Aston Villa thrown back here to their number 14 of Pau Torres, who started through the last 4 games now for Aston Villa. Did miss a few games from December to February, Pau Torres, but he's back in now. As Cash heads forward towards Bailey, won back though by Johnson, who goes back into his own half here, dribbling the ball towards his own goal, finding Dragusin. And to the goalkeeper of Vicario. Takes his time, goes forward to Basuma, just about shifts it away from the slide challenger McGinn. Back to Vicario, then to the left to Dragusin, whose ball deflects off Diaby, through to McGinn. On the byline, into the area, pulls it. Zaniolo, big touch from Vicario. Romero plays out wide left to Maddison, forward to Udogie, and Spurs survive. Not cleared well enough by Dragusin, and McGinn took the opportunity to square it, but it was a big touch from Vicario. As Udogie, violently brought down there by McGinn. The Tottenham bench is not happy with that at all. That's a really bad tackle, that, from McGinn. That is awful. Absolutely no attempt at all to win the ball there. You can see it from a mile away. I think it's one of them where it's probably not a red card in terms of the fact I don't think there's... Oh, it is a red. Good refereeing. I like that a lot. Red card for McGinn. I'm glad. That was just an awful challenge. There was no need. He went nowhere near the ball at all. And I'm glad he sent him off. Lost his head completely. Udogie bringing it forward. That is awful. What is he doing? Udogie's knowing... Oh, that is awful. The only reason I thought the referee would have given a yellow there was because there was no studs involved. You know, it was no high boot or anything like that. He's just absolutely booted him and gone right through him. So, kind of trying to get into the referee's head, I just thought he would have given a yellow because it was not a high challenge, there was no studs or anything. But it was a violent challenge. It was aggressive. Just kicked right through Udogie. And McGinn's been sent in his marching orders. And I'm very glad that he's sent off there, because that was just unnecessary. And just an awful challenge. He just lost his head. Like I say, Udogie, he's just about to get towards the halfway line. And like I say, the reaction from the Tottenham bench and the players just show how bad that challenge was. I think the worst part of it for McGinn is you can tell he's not going for the ball. You couldn't have made it more obvious that he thought, I'm not getting the ball, I'm just taking him out. Good refereeing, I like that. McGinn sent off, and rightly so. Letting his team down as captain. It's his first red card for the club. And he's been at the club since 2018. And he has featured in every game this season for Aston Villa in all competitions, and that will now change with that 3-game ban that he'll get for the straight red. And I'm sure Unai Emery he's looking calm at the moment at Emery, but I can imagine inside he's absolutely furious, because that is one of the most unnecessary challenges I think I've ever seen. I just don't understand what he's doing. He just kicked right through him. Like I say, I thought the referee was going to give a yellow, and I'm quite glad he's ended up giving a red, because seeing it back on replay, it reaffirmed to me that it was an awful challenge. Like I said straight away, just my first instincts, it was violent. That's how bad it was. It's just something you do when someone's done something to you and you don't like it, and you think, I'm just gonna go for him. That's what it seemed to go. Absolutely lost his head completely. That's absolutely baffled me. Spurs 2 up, a man extra with a quarter of the game to go. Absolutely bemusing stuff from McGinn, who sent off for Villa. And it does look like now Spurs are going to shrink that gap from 5 points to 2 with a game in hand. And will Spurs now go on and win the game and also take that 4th spot off Aston Villa? Back underway here with Kulusevski. Goes back to the halfway line now to Romero. And it looks like that run of 3 wins in a row for Aston Villa against Spurs will come to an end. The last time Aston Villa won 4 in a row against Spurs was from November 94 to January 96, and it looks like that dream's over of keeping that run alive as well, of trying to go 4 in a row against Tottenham. Maddison lifts it over the top for Johnson. There was a few players offside, and Johnson was one of them. So it'll be free kick, I think just on the edge of the box there for Aston Villa, who have got the biggest mountain to climb. As now, because of McGinn's red card, Aston Villa are having to take off an attacker for a central midfielder. So Leon Bailey comes off, very frustrated. And he'll be replaced by Tim Irabunam, who spent last season on loan at QPR. He's starting to feature more for the first team. Started in the game against Ajax on Thursday. And he's making his 5th Premier League appearance of the season. And they've all come off the bench. And Spurs are going to start making their own changes here, with Pape Sarr coming off for Rodrigo Bentancur, who had started 6 of the last 7 games. He's been injured a lot this season. He was injured in this game against Aston Villa. So Spurs make a change. And back underway. Irabunam getting away from the challenge of Maddison and Johnson. Good introduction from Irabunam, who can set Cash away. Who gets away from Basuma, but his pass is short to Diaby. Udogie brings it away. Beyond the halfway line this time. He's not been volleyed out of the game by an Aston Villa player. And Udogie kicks it out of play. As it's Johnson down for Spurs at the moment. Ran into a bit of traffic there, Johnson. Udogie. I think that's why he kicked the ball out of play in the end. Because he kind of realised, I'm going to lose the ball here, so let's look like I'm going to kick it out for a teammate. It was his... Let's have a look here. I think it was when Udogie took the ball off Diaby. I think Cash just caught him on the Achilles as they were both running back together. Back to his feet though, Johnson, so he should be okay to continue. It's Cash with the throw-in, and they're going to throw it back to Tottenham. Yeah, they'll throw back to Tottenham. Decent sportsmanship there from Aston Villa. And it's back with the Spurs goalkeeper of Vicario. But yeah, for Tottenham, it's 0 clean sheets in their last 9 in the Premier League. The last clean sheet they kept was their last Premier League away win at Forest in December. So it will be a very welcomed clean sheet for Tottenham if they can keep one. Kulusevski down the Tottenham right in the final third, goes across to a central area to Basuma, 1-2 with Maddison, still with Basuma, about 40 yards away from goal, forward to Johnson, tries to take it on the turn, cut out by Moreno, work to Zaniolo, who can get away from the side challenger Basuma in the centre circle, then out to the right to Diaby, gets away from Udogie, but his touch doesn't go in front of him, tackled by Udogie, last touch off the Villa man, and it's a Spurs throw-in on the halfway line, on that far side. Now with number 30, Rodrigo Bentancur, who's just come off the bench for Tottenham. Did start the reverse game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, was brought off early after being injured by Matty Cash. It's been so much better from Tottenham. And I'm glad I'm glad that they're coming through with the result here, Tottenham, because we were talking about at half-time how one of these teams just needs to... sorry, I've not updated the scoreline. Do apologise. It is 2-0 to Tottenham. How we just said that one of these teams just needs to take the game and just take risks and be confident. And exactly what they've done. Dragisin, ball in behind for Kulusevski, who's making a run through, but just overhit the pass there. The new sign for Tottenham, and Kulusevski couldn't get on the end of it. And it's Aston Villa back on the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box here with Konsa. It's now with right back Cash, who can take it away from Johnson, inside to Irabunam. Now to Louise, who turns straight into Bentancur. Good win of possession. Ball forward quickly to Son. Kulusevski to his right, finds him, cuts it back again. Kulusevski to Son, who's closed down quickly, and the shot opportunity goes, and his pass is cut out by Konsa there as he looked for Bentancur. Konsa pulled down. Nothing given by the referee, but Konsa still has it. Back heels into Zaniolo. What a run that is by Konsa. And then Zaniolo sat on his bike, and he can't keep it in though. And Zaniolo boots the ball away in frustration, which is probably just slowing down his own team there. Zaniolo. But Son was in there. Douglas Luiz that time being caught out of possession in his own half, and he found Kulusevski. Angle wasn't really on for Kulusevski to shoot, so he pulled it back to Son, whose touch got away from him. Got away from the chance to shoot, and eventually gave the ball away himself, the South Korean. Back with Tottenham Hotspur on the ball here, who had such a bad season last time out, finishing 8th. Top 4 will definitely be the aim for this campaign as they're giving it away, looking for Son in behind. It wasn't a horrific choice of pass, just the execution didn't come off as Diaby's been set away here for Aston Villa on the right hand side, onto his left foot, running across the 18-yard box, and the shot blocked in the end by Basuma, and he'll roll out to a left back position here where Brennan Johnson finds himself for Tottenham. Lays it off for Basuma, still on this far side for Tottenham. Johnson again. Ball inside, deflects off Diaby, picked up by Watkins. Just a bit lazy there, it seemed, for Johnson. Bad position to give the ball away. It's now Diaby again on the far side, through for Watkins, who's in a right wing position here. Tackled by Basuma. Ball poked away to Johnson, who will keep it in, avoid the throw-in, and finds Udogie. In the defensive third for Tottenham, Johnson finding Udogie again. Back out wide to Son. First time ball inside for Bentancur. They are ripping this Aston Villa side apart here with a man extra. They're using it to their advantage. Kulusevski running at Moreno onto his left foot. Kulusevski, edge of the area. He wants to strike it and he just completely gets under it. Maybe even took a bobble there. And high over the crossbar it goes from Dejan Kulusevski, who's not scored in his last... who's only got 1 goal in his last 7 that he's played in the Premier League. Did score and assist here in the 4-0 win for Tottenham back in the 21-22 season when Aston Villa were under Gerrard and Spurs were under Conte. But wasn't to be for Kulusevski that time. As it's Irabunum, who's looked at home on this pitch since coming on for the last 5 or so minutes in the centre of the park. Finds Diaby on the right-hand side, forward to Cash into the final third. First time cross, it comes off Dragusin. And it's a corner for Aston Villa on the far side. You know, if Aston Villa can work themselves a goal here, make it 2-1. I know they have 10 men, but might just start putting some pressure and some worries onto the Tottenham players' minds. Oh, that's a great block from Dragusin, and that will hurt. That is hitting him square in the place you don't want to hit you square. He's took that well. That would have definitely hurt. Great defending from Dragusin. He does have to get back to his feet now and kind of shake that off and defend the corner here. So it'll be an outswing from Luiz. It's a low one to the near post. Easy clearance from Porro. What an awful cross that was. Martinez has it on the halfway line, puts it back in towards the 18-yard box, headed away from Udogie. Touched down by Bentancur, but dispossessed there by Irabunum. Now forward out to the left to Watkins, who can keep it away from Udogie. Pulled down by the Italian. No, not given by the referee. Surprising. Kulusevski now has it for Tottenham on the right, brought down by Moreno, and play will continue as Kulusevski gets back to his feet, and he gets away from Zaniolo. What a run this is from Kulusevski into the 18-yard box, tries to get onto his left foot, then dispossessed by Zaniolo, who's then pulled back by Kulusevski, and that'll be a free kick for Villa in the 18-yard box. It's not been Watkins' day at all. Not really been at it for Aston Villa. Ollie Watkins. As it's Aston Villa to build from the back if possible. If Aston Villa do score today, it'll be their 100th goal under Unai Emery. Like I say, they conceded their 50th and 51st goal in all competitions today, with the Maddison first and the Johnson second. But Tottenham's last 5 goals now have all come from different goal scorers. Werner, Romero and Son against Palace last week, and then Maddison and Johnson this week at Villa Park. This will make it 9 wins from their last 10 here at Villa Park for Tottenham, as ball in behind for Diaby from Luiz, pulls it across, goes behind Watkins, and no one's there for Aston Villa. Easy gathering for Porro. And it's now with Maddison out to the left here to Son, who's going to be running at Konsa here. He has got Johnson darting forward, but Johnson holds his run and Son slows it down. It's now with Udogie, and Tottenham is going to settle back down on the ball here. On the halfway line, with Romero. Because now, after this game, it'll be 21 games in a row where this fixture hasn't brought out a draw. I just find that absolutely incredible. 60, it'll be 18 Premier League games with no draw, and then 21 in all competitions with no draw, which I just find, just quite. I think that's quite rare. Last draw in the fixture coming back in 2012. That's, coming up to 12 years ago now, in May 2012. Still Tottenham just knocking the ball around. Maddison finding the gap here to Bentancur. Keeps it away from Torres and Konsa. But the ball to Udogie reaches Diaby first. And Aston Villa have it in their own half. Back with the right back Cash. He's had a tough day today against Johnson. He's now on the edge of the box on the left-hand side here with Pau Torres. Into Moreno. He runs away from Kulusevski. Good running here from Moreno. Brings it forward through the legs of Porro to Zaniolo, who is dispossessed there by Romero, who wins the ball fairly. It's a great slide challenge on halfway by Christian Romero. Maddison forward to Bentancur. Gets the ball back here, Maddison. Plays a ball through here for Kulusevski, who I think's just timed his run right. Keeps it in on the byline. Enters the box. Cross needs to be right. Back post. Controlled by Johnson. Shot blocked. Loops in the air. Controlled by Bentancur. And it just gets away from him. Can be dispossessed by Douglas Luiz. And Villa go long with Moreno. Deflects off Basuma. Watkins heads on out wide left towards Zaniolo, who won't beat Romero to it. Who calmly lifts it to Porro. And Tottenham deal with that slight little scare there from Villa, who tried to look to get on the break if possible. Still Tottenham on the ball at the moment, on the halfway line with Porro, just to this near side. Finding the number 21 of Dejan Kulusevski. But this top four race is seriously now at its peak. 2 points behind Villa here, Tottenham, with a game in hand with these 3 points. Maddison about 30 yards from goal, just drifting out towards the left-hand side, finding Udogie all the time in the world. Obviously very difficult now for Aston Villa with a man down. McGinn sent off with a challenge on Udogie. It's now with Porro on the near side here. Goes for an early cross. It's a low one towards Son, who takes the touch, but then tackled well by Cash, who was sliding in to avoid the South Korean from getting a shot away there at goal. Just looks like a bit of a training ground game now at the moment for Tottenham. And they'll certainly take that. Playing Aston Villa off the park at the moment. They played them off the park in the first half for the majority with the amount of possession they had. But they just didn't really create anything with the ball at all. I think they only conjured one shot on goal in the first half, Tottenham, despite having 70% possession, but completely flipped on its head in the second half. Much more positive going forward. What a bad giveaway from Torres. Kulusevski tries to pass through to Son, deflects back to Bentancur, then through to Kulusevski, who in the area, on his left foot, can't get a shot at goal. That's been blocked off by Moreno, so it goes back to Porro, and then back once more here to Christian Romero for Tottenham. And it's now in the centre circle with Dragusin. And that's the good thing for Tottenham, bringing in the centre-half from Genoa, Radu Dragusin, because when they had Romero out suspended and Van der Ven out injured, and he could be injured again, Van der Ven, who came off early in the second half when it was 0-0. When they last played Aston Villa, Tottenham had a two centre-back partnership of Emerson Royal and Ben Davies. They're full-backs, and they were having to play them at centre-back due to injury and suspension, but the fact that they can now call upon Dragusin as a backup is going to definitely help them from now till the end of the season to try and get that fourth spot. Bentancur tries to flick it round the corner. No one's making a run there for Tottenham, so through for Konsa, and then back to Martinez in the 6-yard box. Back out to Konsa, who'll bring it out of the 18-yard area. Play a pass forward to Watkins, out to the right now to Cash, who goes into the space for Diaby, who will keep it in here, and he'll run at Udogie. He'll go around the outside of him. He's got the pace here. Diaby, ball goes across. Well dealt with by Romero. Cleared out of play there by the Argentine centre-back. And I think it's gone for a corner. A very solid performance from Christian Romero. Completely cancelled Watkins out of the game today. I'm not usually a big fan of Romero. I think he's slightly overhyped at times. I just find him a little bit too aggressive. Like, I'm all for a defender being aggressive, but I I think for me, sometimes he oversteps the mark too many times, lets his team down too often with red cards. But today he's really found the balance of being calm and aggressive and just making it hard for Watkins to get into the game. So it'll be an Aston Villa corner here. It'll be a right-footed outswinger from Douglas Luiz. He needs to be better than the one he put in about 10 minutes ago where he hit the near post. Bit deeper this time, and it goes, headed towards goal. Zaniolo with the strike. Brave goalkeeping from Vicario. There'll be another corner. The header was flicked on towards the far post, and it's going to Zaniolo. Good ball in by Luiz. Headed on, I think, by Konsa towards the far post where Vicario's come in. Outstretched. Putting his body on the line. And Zaniolo, I don't think could ever make that go in the back of the net because he just had the huge figure of Vicario in the way. And he blocked it behind for another corner. As Vicario just receiving some treatment here. Feeling a bit of pain on the back of his head. Another good performance from Vicario. This will be his 6th clean sheet of the season. In the Premier League. 4 away from home now. They've only kept 2 at home, Tottenham. So definitely room for improvement in the next season. And we are going to get some changes here. 2 for Tottenham and the 1 for Aston Villa. And for Aston Villa, we're going to see Ezri Konsa come off, sent off on Thursday. Ezri Konsa against Ajax. And he'll be replaced here by number 3, Diego Carlos. He turns 31 next week, the Brazilian. Diego Carlos has been out for the last 3 games, but he returns off the bench for the closing stages here. And the 2 Tottenham changes, we'll see Højbjerg come on and Werner. Not quite sure who they're going to replace yet. I think the changes will probably be made after the corner's taken. Bit of Vaseline on the back of Vicario's head as Aston Villa are surrounding the goalkeeper here. Like I say, he's been caught out plenty of times from corners this season, Vicario. Chris Kavanagh just making sure that no one commits any fouls. As if Aston Villa do score, they could really pile on the pressure late on. Kind of go for it a little bit more because they're down to 10 men anyway, so they've got nothing to lose as Luiz swings it in. Header away by Dragusin for Tottenham to the edge of the box. Headed back in by Cash towards Vicario, who comes in for it, drops it. Still alive in the area, needs to be dealt with. Again, Vicario. Liability at the back sometimes with those crosses coming in. Tottenham deal with it for now. Luiz from that near side where he took the corner has it. Goes across and back there to all the way back to Martinez in the centre circle. Killing the momentum for now, but they do get it out to the far side here to Diaby. He's 1-on-1 at the moment with Johnson. We know Diaby can cross it after last week. Puts it in with his right foot. Deflects off Romero. Headed forward by Maddison to Udogie, who can keep it away from Zaniolo for now. Zaniolo tracking him all the way. Last touch off Udogie, and it'll be an Aston Villa throwing. But before it can be taken, we'll have these changes made. So we'll have the Tottenham changes now. We had the Villa one before, and we'll get the Tottenham ones now. And the first one is going to be the goal scorer of the first. James Maddison in the 50th minute, scoring his first Premier League goal since the 23rd of October in a home win against Fulham. So that'll be the first change. Maddison off for Højbjerg. And the second change, we'll see the second goal scorer replaced. Brennan Johnson, who scored his first ever goal against Aston Villa today. And he'll be replaced by loney Timo Werner. He turned 28 last week. And he's coming on for his 8th Spurs appearance. Scored his first Spurs goal last week, Timo Werner, against Crystal Palace. Kick-starting the comeback to make it 1-1. We're back underway here. Moreno brought to the ground there by Kulusevski. Free kick for Villa, just inside their own half on the near side. Ball over the top here for Watkins. He'll bring it down as well, just outside the box on the left-hand side. Villa need to get plays forward here. Watkins lifts it into the far post, and it's a curling ball in towards goal, but it was overhit in the end. And it goes out for a goal kick. The lineups are out for the Liverpool-Manchester City game. We'll have a look at them now. We'll bring them to you in a minute as we have Tottenham bringing it forward here. Out to the near side to Porro, who's got all the time in the world on the ball here. Obviously, Villa have just struggled massively since going a man down with just over 25 minutes left to play. John McGinn, just a really dangerous, unnecessary challenge on Destiny Udogie, and he was given his marching orders by Chris Kavanagh. That's Højbjerg. What a turn that is on Douglas Luiz, midway side his own half. That is skill from Højbjerg. Skips away from Irabunum. Sets away Son on the right-hand side here. Son's going to go across goal. Blocked by Luiz. Straight to Kulusevski's shot. Is blocked by Carlos. And that is a big block from Carlos off the bench. Should have been a third for Tottenham. They've really treated the second half like a training game. They could have easily scored a third or fourth, but they've been a little bit lackadaisical when on the ball. They're being allowed to, in fairness. They're allowed to look lackadaisical because they're getting given so much time on the ball. They're just taking the time with it. Tottenham, but nearly scored a third there through Kulusevski. Big block there from Carlos as it was Son who put an early ball across. So we'll get this corner, then we'll have a look at the two teams for the Liverpool-Manchester City game. That's from the corner. Tottenham have worked it back towards their back four here of Dragusin. And into their own half here with Romero. So for Liverpool, it's Kelleher in goal with Gomez, Endo, Van Dijk, Diaz, Szoboszlai, Nunez, McAllister, Elliott, Quansah and Bradley. So no Konate and Alexander-Arnold as Kulusevski puts in the box. Son with the shot! And he absolutely slams it into the back of the net. So much power on that shot. Past Martinez in a flash. And as we have 10 minutes added on here, it's just 10 more minutes of misery and pain for Aston Villa, who in this second half have been absolutely ripped apart by Tottenham's attacking quality that they have in such an abundance. And it's three different goal scorers. Maddison firstly, Johnson for the second, and then Son to finish it with a third. Played it out to the near side to Kulusevski. Completed a 1-2 with Porro. Away he went, Kulusevski, into the box. Wasn't closed down quick enough. Allowed to play the ball across the box, where on his own, like a ghost, somehow Son has been left to have a free strike at goal, all on his own, on the penalty spot. That defending is tired, it's lazy, and it's been punished by Tottenham. Right foot from Son towards the roof of the net. And he continues his fantastic goal-scoring record against Aston Villa. Tottenham, Heung-min Son for Tottenham. He's now 7 in 9. And he hadn't scored in his last 3 against Aston Villa, but that's been changed now. He's back on the score sheet against this Aston Villa side. As that's now goal 159 for Tottenham. It's his 14th of the season. He now has equalled his tally for the whole of last season in all competitions. And Tottenham have made their lead 3. Really making most of that man extra. Porro plays Son in, goes for the early strike this time as he entered the box. It was a comfortable save there for Emi Martinez. As Tottenham score 3 again. And despite not winning away very often at the moment, Tottenham, they've been scoring so many goals away from home. You know, Spurs had won 1 of their last 6 away games in the Premier League. But in 5 of those 6 where they have either won, lost or drawn, they'd scored 2 or more goals. That's ridiculous. To win 1 game from 6, where in 5 of those 6 you've scored 2 or more goals, you should really be winning more than just the 1. So it's not like they've not been able to score the goals, they've just not been able to keep them out at the other end. But this time, they've done that, just that. They've been able to get the goals, but this time defend their own net. And at the minute, they're looking for a first clean sheet in the league since mid-December. It's been very deserved. Second half, they've just been the team who have took this game to Aston Villa, and the home team have just not been able to handle it at all. And it's 3 separate scorers today for Tottenham Hotspur, who closed the gap to Aston Villa to 2 points with a game in hand. As the Manchester City starting 11 is Ederson in goal, Walker, Akanji, Ake, Stones, Rodri, Foden, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Alvarez and Haaland. So that is Ruben Diaz and Josko Gvardiol on the bench for Manchester City. That's going to be a blockbusting game later on in about just under an hour's time in Anfield. But here, it's just Tottenham knocking the ball around. Bentancur down the left wing here. He's going to bring it forward. Being chased down by Irabunum. Rodrigo Bentancur keeps it. Lays it off for Son, who enters the box. Looking for a pullback. Finds Werner, who strikes it into that bottom right corner. It's becoming a battering here at Villa Park. Tottenham score again. It's 2-2 for Timo Werner. And even though Villa do have 10 men, this is brilliant football from Tottenham. And they are sharing the goals out. Werner this time with the goal off the bench. Scored last week against Palace and he's scoring again here against Aston Villa. Just too easy. Bentancur finding Son on the edge of the box. He found himself down the left-hand side towards the byline. Knew he had to pull it back. And he was looking for an option. And Werner got in between 4 Aston Villa players. Aston Villa made a square around Werner. And he was just in the middle of it. And side-footed the ball to the far corner. No chance for Martinez, who's not really had a chance with every goal. And for Aston Villa here, and Unai Emery, they are being taught a lesson here. And it could be 5. The seats are emptying. The goals keep coming for Spurs. Into the box of Bentancur, facing goal. Being forced out of the area there as he was being followed by Pau Torres. And they won here 4-0 a couple of seasons ago, Tottenham, under Conte, as they win a throw-in here in the final third. Porro being tackled. And we've still got another 4.5 minutes left to play, as those Tottenham fans are in full voice, making the 5-hour plus round trip to Villa Park, where they have now won 9 of the last 10 here in all competitions. It's a ground they love to come to, and they've really given Aston Villa a warning of that top 4 spot still being up for grabs for Tottenham. Instead of 8 points clear, Villa, they're now only 2. Could have been 8, but they just haven't been good enough today. Spurs took the risks, and they've been rewarded. And it's now Kulusevski tackled strongly by Pau Torres on the edge of the box. Forward to Watkins, his header goes behind Zaniolo. And it's into Bentancur. Basuma switches out to the left towards Werner. Cut out by the head of Cash. It's now to Diaby in the 18-yard box, who can burst away from Werner. Plays it forward here to Cash. Chops on Bentancur, who trips him. That's a free kick for Aston Villa. And it remains Villa 0, Tottenham 4. Despite struggling away from home this season at times, Spurs, this is just their 6th win in their 13th away game in the league. They have shown that they can definitely do it away from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as Aston Villa go long there, comes off the back of the head of Dragisin to keep the ball away from Watkins. And it's back in Tottenham possession in their own half with just under 3 minutes left to play. Thanks to anyone who stayed around, we've had a decent amount of numbers throughout the whole stream. It's been a very good game to watch, and I hope you enjoyed the live commentary here of this 4-0 win at the moment for Tottenham. And to be fair, they could have had a few more if they want to. Son's gone down off the ball here. I think he's just ran into the shoulder of Carlos, as it was just Bentancur on the ball in the Tottenham half, and Son was looking to make a run in behind. Let's have a look. Was there any elbow used, or was it just a bit of a shoulder there? Son trying to make a run, just blocked off by Carlos, just a shoulder in the face. So Son's going to get back to his feet. On the score sheet again, Son. 6 goals in his last 10. 6 goals in his last 11, sorry, that he's played in the Premier League. and he's just been a constant threat up front for Tottenham, making those runs in behind. Not always receiving the ball from those runs, but just giving the Aston Villa defenders the question. We're back in the way. Minute and a half to play. Romero bringing the ball forward, going across to Dragusin. And for Spurs, this will be their 25th win in the Premier League against Aston Villa. It's their 78th altogether in the 174th meeting between the two. And this shows a clear indication of who should really be the favourites to be taking that final 4th spot in this league. There's Højbjerg in behind for Werner down the left-hand side. Can he keep it in? He can't. Just overruns it on the far side there, and it's a goal kick for Villa with less than a minute to play. We know Werner's quick, but just not quite quick enough to keep that Højbjerg pass in play. So I think Martinez will just send this long. I think Aston Villa just want the ball away, as far away from goal as possible. Beyond the halfway line, headed forward by Bissouma. Nodded down by Carlos. Picked up by Højbjerg. Pokes it through for Kulusevski. Tackled by Carlos, who kicks it out of play. For a corner. We might not even have time to take the corner as we're about to hit the 100th minute here after 10 added on at Villa Park. Højbjerg takes it quickly. Short to Kulusevski. And the whistle will be blown here at full time. It's a massive step in the right direction for Spurs as they look to take that 4th spot in the Premier League this season for Champions League next campaign. Aston Villa are their main rivals for that final position, and they've just taught them a lesson in that second half in their own backyard. The goal scoring started very early in the second 45 minutes here. James Maddison, 5 minutes into the second half, scoring after a superb cross into the 6-yard box by Pape Sarr. Left-footed volley from Maddison as he got in between Konsa and Cash and played the ball behind Emi Martinez into the back of the net. And they doubled their lead 3 minutes later. Brennan Johnson scoring his first ever career goal against Aston Villa, lifting the ball over Martinez as the ball was given away by Ezri Konsa in the Aston Villa half. And Tottenham had their job made a lot easier as with 25 minutes to play, John McGinn made a late challenge on Udogie. Very uncharacteristic, but a red card it was, just kicking straight through the Italian fullback. And it pretty much meant Aston Villa had an impossible job to get back in the game. And 2 goals added on time for Spurs made the victory look and taste even sweeter. In the first minute of added on time, it was Heung-min Son to score his goal, making it 2-2 for him after scoring last week at Palace. And once again here at Villa Park, making it 7 goals in 9 now against today's opposition. And Timo Werner finished the goal scoring off with a 4th in the 4th minute of added on time. He was found in the box by Son, and he hit the ball first time, side-footed across the far corner. No chance for Emi Martinez once again. And for Spurs at Villa Park, they've made it 9 wins here from 10 at Villa Park. They are 2 points behind Villa now, who are in 4th, and Tottenham have a game in hand. So momentum goes to Tottenham. And the ball is now well and truly in their court. It's now down to Ange Postecoglou's side to take this win and build on it and get themselves into that top 4 for Champions League football next season. Great commentary, mate. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who was around, who stuck around as well. We've got a lot higher average view duration, which basically means what's the average view? Like how long is people staying for? It's usually a lot lower, but people who have been here have stuck around for the majority of the commentary, so that does mean a lot. Thank you very much for those who have stuck around for the full 100 plus minutes we've watched here at Villa Park. Do enjoy the game coming up in just 45 minutes time at Anfield. It should be a cracker between Liverpool and Manchester City, but that is going to be the end of the live commentary here from Villa Park. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got 2 commentaries coming up In the next 2 days, we're covering Chelsea against Newcastle tomorrow, 8 o'clock on the Monday, and we're covering Arsenal's second leg in the last 16 of the Champions League against Porto. That's also at 8 o'clock UK time, as Arsenal are currently one behind in that, so that should be a very interesting game at the Emirates. But here from Villa Park, it was a very nervy and cagey first half, but Tottenham came out in the second and made the game their own. They have scored 4 fantastic goals against this Villa side who were down to 10 men with 25 minutes to play through McGinn, but they were already 2-0 down by that point, and Tottenham made it 4 and added on time. 4 different scorers, 3 points for Tottenham. They're 2 behind Villa with a game in hand. Who will take that final top 4 spot? We'll have to wait and see, but it's been a big moment for Tottenham today as they come away from Villa Park with Aston Villa losing by 4 goals to 0.